Do I look like a piece of salt? So we're gonna reenact what happens. This loader, say I'm the salt, and this loader's driving to me, but it's gonna be stationary for this presentation. I'm gonna move towards it, so I'm the salt. This is wild. Oh my God. We are journalists. Hello everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Today we are in, what town is this in? Halfhof? Halfhof? Yeah. So we're right in the middle of Germany. We're at a salt mine. Video correction. I say salt for the entire duration of this video. As you know, if you're a frequent viewer, I am very often wrong, and I am even more wrong in foreign countries where I don't speak the native language. So the whole time I refer to it as a salt mine because that's what I was told, and it is kind of salt, but in reality, it's a potash mine. Potash has potassium within it, so they extract the potassium to use for fertilizer, and the byproduct is the salt material that we saw on the big mountain at the end of the video. So that is to clarify, it's a potash mine, not a salt mine. Stupid me. Enjoy the video. This is where the miners get dressed right here. They come in, they put their number, unlock their little rope, and can lower their stuff down to the ground. 150 people per shift, 3 shifts, 7 days a week, every day of the year essentially. So now that we're dressed, and I still didn't ask why we had to get dressed. They just put us in this dressing room and the clothes are in there, so here we are. We're all matching though, so I feel good about it. We're gonna go 800 meters underground to go check out the salt mining process. So we learned yesterday that Glück auf is basically good luck and hope that you come back to the surface when you go underground in Germany. We've gone through our safety briefing. We got our headlamp, so we look like Iron Man. And then this is our breathing apparatus, an hour of oxygen in case something bad happens, but something bad won't happen today. We learned about that in the safety briefing. It's basically, you put it in your mouth and you can breathe normally for an hour. So we're about to get in the elevator, go 800 meters down into the ground, and as he explained, they don't just take salt out, they also bring material into old parts of the mine. The ash from power plants will go down into the mine and be disposed underground. What's all the salt? Is it all for road? Like road salt?
No, it's for fertilizer.
Fertilizer?
Yeah, basically.
It's all for fertilizer?
Yeah.
Huh. So this is how everybody gets down here?
Yep.
The elevator is 4 floors, and you can get 14 people per floor. So you can have 52 people coming down at one time. It just takes 90 seconds to get 800 meters underground. So we were just up at the surface, now we're 800 meters underground. And I am awake now. Yeah. I don't need any coffee this morning. Holy
Are in the mine.
Okay. And so this is, so we're in the entrance of the mine, so everybody has a tag, and when you come in, you put your tag on the board. So if something were to happen, they can go to this board and know exactly who's in the mine at that time.
You like it?
Yeah, this is really cool. We are about 2,000 feet underground right now. In a clown car. This is wild. So there's a light that points straight up, mounted to the top of the Jeep, and that's safety for the loaders, so the loaders can see our vehicle. get this down here, they had to split this machine into every single individual component, including the bucket. The bucket that I'm standing in right now, it's a 22 cubic meter bucket, an enormous bucket that's way bigger than what you typically see on the 992 in rock. You had to split it in 3. So this was one section, the middle part was one section, and that was one section. These bits right here are additional reinforcement because the bucket is so enormous. It needs that reinforcement so that the bucket doesn't flex when it's picking up material. And then you'll notice that the bucket is actually pinned. It's not pinned to the back of the bucket like a rock bucket, it's pinned kind of within the bucket to maintain the center of gravity despite those bigger pockets in the back of this salt bucket. Do I look like a piece of salt? We are journalists. Or what are we?
We are not press.
Yeah, we're not press. So I asked what modifications are made to this machine other than the enormous bucket and the fire suppression. And he said they replaced, typically there's a water spray system to clean the windows, and these large excavators, they removed that. They don't want water down here. And they just used compressed air. So it'll spray a jet of air onto the window to get the salt off the window while they're running. Because the dust is just almost unbearable when this loader is going.
Putting everything together. So
oh wow! So it took 4 weeks just to disassemble it.
Right.
To all the individual components
right.
at the branch, right. Truck everything here, and then 2 weeks to get it down here and reassemble it.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah.
So this is another classic example of me versus the guy she tells you not to worry about.
Are you salty about it?
I'm very salty about it, but nothing I can do. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that they don't have just one, they have 2. So these are not for the main mining operation. The main mining operation produces the salt needed in a 7-day period, but only in 5 days. So the excess salt will be stockpiled in these enormous caverns. And then when they're not in production, producing material, they hand it over to these 2 992s that feed the hopper down below to continue feeding the plant, because the plant needs to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, regardless of what's happening down here. 992G, 992K. I have never seen anything like this. Wow. So we're in the machine. You have your 2 sticks right here for your bucket control, lift, and then right here, this is what makes it go forward, backwards, side to side with your joystick. So there's no steering wheel in here, which is pretty standard for a big loader like this. He said they disabled any kind of gear other than first when you have a bucket full to reduce stress and strain on the tires due to the heat. You have your backup camera right here, radio, your gorgeous cat radio. Otherwise, this is pretty similar to any kind of other mining machine. Because everything is just caked in salt. Have these run pretty well up here?
No wiper blades?
Oh, no wiper blades. Oh, wow. So it's just like a foam that they have instead of the wiper blades to scrub the windows. So they have, within the cabs, since the dust gets so extreme in these areas while they're loading, they have an additional system outside the cab that keeps positive air pressure within the cab so the dust can't get in. Because if the air pressure is greater within the cab, nothing can get into it, which is like a science lab, but we're talking big loaders and salt underground. So despite the harshness of this, they have to clean machines quite a bit, but he said the maintenance is the same as a loader up on the surface. The reason why there's no corrosion or rust is because there's no humidity. We're underground. So they can run in salt all day long as they clean the salt off. It doesn't affect the machine, because without that moisture, salt can't create that rust, that oxidization.
No moisture at all.
Yeah. It can't oxidize.
Air filters last one shift.
The air filters last one shift? Whoa. So that gives you a pretty good idea of how much dust is in there when it's running. How do they even see?
They don't see, they just see the bucket, nothing else.
So he's just looking for that light.
Right.
That light is there because the dust is so bad. I mean, it's basically like flour. The dust gets so bad in here that the loader operator can only barely just see that light. And that light indicates where he needs to dump. Right behind there is the hopper that he's dumping in. But we can see in here because they haven't been working. But if they were working, the dust would be so bad we couldn't see anything but that light right there. Just look at that. Oh my God. He wasn't kidding about how dusty it gets. He's put one bucket in the air. If you look really closely through this salt mist, you'll notice a 992K. That was pretty cool. Time for the rest of the tour. This could be where they faked the moon landing. Production area right now, and these loaders are working where they just blasted and then hauling the material to this kind of like a crusher, but it's really just like this rotary drum that throws it on a conveyor belt and takes it all the way out. It's an enormous bucket. The material, you can tell it's shiny. Salt. And then the operator, and you have one camera facing one direction, one camera facing the other direction. And so you're just sitting here sideways, but the machine goes this direction, this direction. There are 25 of these feeding the main plant. 25. Pretty spooky. So what we just saw was the drilling. The drilling, it's amazingly fast. They do it by eye, remote control. And then we saw there was essentially what's a powder truck where they were loading the shot so that when this shift is over, everybody's up, they set the shot off. He explained that they take some kind of signal, bounce it down the shaft, and then use prisms to bounce it all around the mine so that they can essentially have what is GPS underground to know exactly where they need to drill, where they need to blast, where they need to dig, where exactly the mine is designed. So they put it into the rock and it just holds it, applies pressure. When the earth was here, this was pushing on this was pushing on this.
Right.
Now that you take this away, there's nothing pushing back on that surface. So that's what this is essentially just applying pressure to that surface to mimic what the earth was doing when it was all here. So 14 to 17 euros per anchor, 1.6 million of these per year. And you can see he's gonna run it. So it just essentially drills the hole, puts this within the hole, and then this tip here expands and prevents this from ever leaving that hole. And they just leave all of these here. So this is all you see. You can see at the very end there, this. So this is all the testing area where they're going 2 kilometers ahead of production to take cores. And this is the core storage. So all of this is the different cores from within this mine to basically prove that, oh yeah, the salt's there. That's where we're mining next. Okay, so that concludes our underground portion of the tour. Now we're gonna go back up to where we should be, where humans should be, the face of the earth. And we're back.
Here we are.
That's crazy. Yeah. This is a simulator for their loaders that we saw down there. If you didn't notice, the visibility in the loaders is terrible, and it requires quite a bit of training to even just get used to running those things in that environment, because it can be super dangerous if you don't know what the heck's going on. So this is a simulator. It has the exact same control layout that the loaders have. It has screens all the way around it, so it looks like whatever you're looking at outside of the loader from all different angles. And it's on a motion platform, so it moves around as you're working. It's a futuristic room for a futuristic machine. Yeah. Welcome to the future. Okay, so this is for all the people, when I post the simulators, like the cat simulator, everybody's like, oh, you can't feel it in your ass. Well, here you go. You can feel this one in your ass. Feel it in the seat, is what they say.
Much better.
Much better. So they've recorded the actual mine, and when you're driving this, it's the exact same layout as the mine that you'll be running this in. That's wild.
This is living.
Imagine playing Call of Duty on here.
Yeah. I requested this.
The first part of today's video was us beneath the earth. Now we are clearly on top of the earth where the salt comes out. So we went down one shaft where they bring all the people in and out. The second shaft is where all of the material comes in and out. All of the material comes up here to a processing facility, which we're not going to get into, but 1/3 of the salt that they mine goes to the finished product for fertilizer. 2/3 of it is this waste material that they pile up into this gigantic mountain, and I'm calling it a mountain because they call it a mountain, and it is approximately mountain size. So up here they have cat machines, of course, this enormous conveyor belts piling it up at the top. They have D10s, D9s, and this machine here, that machine there, big machines to pile up the waste material over here. So I don't know what we're gonna see beyond this, but that's kind of to explain what the heck's going on. Also, there's a black sheep over there. Okay, behind me is a Caterpillar D10 T2 delivered and customized for the customer by Zeppelin, our host. Amazing work. As you can see, this white material is salt, which is what it'll be pushing its entire life. Salt, for those of you that don't know, is not metal's best friend. It corrodes the hell out of anything metal. So, to protect this machine, some of the features it has guarding. As you can see, they've covered up the rock guard there. They have flaps over a lot of the exposed cylinders. There are There's a wax coating over any wiring harness. There's an extra fan within the engine compartment to remove moisture after it works. So they've modified this machine to fit this specific application, and this is the prettiest it'll ever look. This is the first day they'll be able to use it, top of the month, November 1. So let's go over here and show you a dozer that's been running in salt for a long time. Oh my God. Okay. So in contrast to the brand new D10 T2, we have a D10 T2 that has run for over 10,000 hours in salt. If you look really closely, you can see the corrosion. If you want to look like undercarriage, a little bit of corrosion, rippers, yeah, corrosion, every single body panel imaginable, pretty corroded, blade, hydraulic cylinders. Wow. You can't even take the master key out. All right, with that, we are all squared away here. We visited an underground salt mine. We saw the 992s underground. We saw the production operations. We saw, I can't do 3 very well. We saw the simulators. And then of course we saw where the byproduct ends up. Really, really cool day. I've never been even close to that deep underground before. I've never seen salt mining before. I've never seen a German mine before. So today was a lot of firsts. Thank you to K+M for having us out. Thank you to Zeppelin for having us out. And I hope you all enjoyed this one. Until next time, stay salty, everybody.